Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you, guys, for joining me this morning, guys. I really appreciate it. Guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, all that jazz. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Now, let's get into a little bit of news, shall we? Look, guys, yesterday was all about the League Cup final, of course. Where Manchester City defeated Arsenal. As predicted on this channel, Manchester City defeated Arsenal. It's all about the experience. It's all about the heritage. Wasn't a great watching, to be honest with you. It was a very poor game, if I'm being totally honest with you. Both teams sort of cancelled each other out in the first half. Man City sort of blended their way into the game, having withstood a barrage of Arsenal attacks in the opening exchanges. But I would say that it's a game where I don't like to witness. And let me tell you why I don't like to witness these type of games, because it's games where Manchester United should be involved in. And when I'm looking at other teams and hoping that another team loses or hoping that the worst happens to other teams, it's a place that I never thought I would be, to be honest with you. It's a place that I didn't want to be. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I would say that congratulations to Manchester City on the win. No quadruple for Arsenal. Didn't expect that anyway. Arsenal are under a lot of pressure now in regards to the mentality. Obviously, losing to Manchester City is not ideal when you're in a title race, even though Arsenal are in a very good position at the moment. Guys, now let's move on to Manchester United, shall we? It's all about Manchester United. And let's move on to what we're going to do in the summer. Now, guys, it seems like I have mentioned about 1,000 players on this channel, guys, over the last few weeks. That's not to say we are not interested in 1,000 players, but we certainly are not going to sign 1,000 players. Now, a couple of players that I'm going to bring in to the show today are a couple of players that I've already mentioned, a couple of players that are already well known in regards to the Premier League football. One of which is Myles Lewis-Skelly. Now, I mentioned Myles Lewis-Skelly a few months ago in regards to Manchester United signing him from Arsenal. Now, this seemed at the time a little bit far-fetched. Why would Arsenal sell Myles Lewis-Skelly to Manchester United? Now, when I'm looking at the squad, I'm looking at Arsenal, and I'm looking at the fact that they keep putting Myles Lewis-Skelly on the bench. Myles Lewis-Skelly could potentially look at other options in regards to maintaining his valuation and also staying, should I say, in the England squad. He has been dropped from the England squad, and that is a big problem, of course, for him, especially with the World Cup around the corner. Now, he's a little bit disgruntled about this, a little bit disillusioned by where things are going in regards to Arsenal. He's not playing first team football, nowhere near enough. But Manchester United could potentially be a way out of Arsenal. Now, he's valued at around 35 million euros, guys, 35 million euros. And the key for Myles Lewis-Skelly is that he can play as a left back, a centre mid CDM, a centre midfielder. He's very versatile for his age, only 19 years old, as you remember. Already played up-teen amounts of games for Arsenal as well. So very experienced for his tender age, of course. Now, I would say that this isn't realistic in regards to Manchester United signing an Arsenal player. A few weeks ago, I would have said it isn't realistic. Now I'm looking at it and thinking maybe Arsenal might be willing to do a deal, considering Lewis-Skelly is questioning his future at Arsenal. And I think that he would be a good signing for Manchester United going forward in regards to a left back that Man United dearly need. And also, obviously, he can also play as a CDM, which is also very important as well, and a CM, which is also very important. What I would say, though, having said all that, is that I don't think Myles Skelly is the first option for me, even in regards to the left-back position. For me, it would be Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall would be the guy that I would be bringing into Manchester United first before anyone else, guys. Before anyone else, it would be Lewis Hall for me because I feel like he's got a bigger ceiling. I think he's a better player. That's not to say that Lewis-Skelly won't reach high levels. I think he will. I think he's an absolutely fabulous player. But I would say that Lewis-Skelly would be behind the pecking order in regards to the left-back position. I would go for Lewis Hall. But Myles Skelly wouldn't be a bad option for Manchester United going forward. And he would go for about 45 to 50 million. The only other issue that I see with this is obviously when you buy players of teams like Arsenal or Chelsea, you are actually helping them a little bit because you're giving them money. And Myles Lewis-Skelly obviously is going to be the full profit for Arsenal. So if Manchester United sign Myles Lewis-Skelly, for example, 50 million, they are going to get the full 50 million to spend on their transfers, which obviously improves them guys, and they can improve their squad. I would much rather Manchester United don't do that. I would much rather Manchester United go after another player around Europe, of course. But that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. That's Premier League football. That's football in general, and that's just the way you have to deal with it, of course. Another player that Manchester United are linked with is Tyro Mitchell. Tyro Mitchell, of course, the player that plays for Crystal Palace, very versatile player, left back, right back, can play a numerous amounts of position, only valued at 25 million. Now, Tyro Mitchell is looking at a way out of Crystal Palace, which has alerted Manchester United. He is 26 years old. He is at that age now where he has to look at his future, think about what his next move is, his next stepping stone, and playing in the Champions League. Maybe his last opportunity to play in the Champions League will be to sign for Manchester United. Of course, Tyro Mitchell has been linked to Manchester United numerous amounts of times over the last couple of years, to be honest with you, and I've always rated him as a player. Obviously, it's died down a little bit in regards to Tyro Mitchell. It has died down. The interest hasn't been as potent as it used to be, of course. And this is one thing that I would say about certain players who stay at a certain club too long. Players can stagnate at certain clubs. Players, when they play, especially when they're playing at the likes of Crystal Palace and teams like that, players can stagnate and players can sort of drift away into the abyss. And it is very important that certain players make their moves when at the right time, I would say. And I think Tyron Mitchell at 26 years old needs to make that move. And that move could be Manchester United, of course. Now, obviously, this is pretty evident now that Man United are looking at fullbacks. Man United are looking at covering the fullback position, and I'm glad about that because I do feel that we need fullbacks. But obviously, the midfield is number one for me, of course. Another fantastic performance from Anderson yesterday against Tottenham Hotspur, which doubles down on the fact that even when you have interest surrounding you, even when the pressure and the eyes are on you, you still perform for your football club. And Anderson has been doing that tenfold over this last season. And yesterday was absolutely phenomenal against Spurs. Spurs are looking precariously down at the relegation zone. Unfortunately, West Ham lost yesterday to Aston Villa, which was a bad result for Man United because we do want Aston Villa to remain in that fourth. However, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because we want Liverpool to stay at the Champions League positions as well. So it is a little bit of a double-edged sword. So it weren't too bad. But West Ham lost yesterday, which obviously helped Tottenham Hotspur. It helped them immensely yesterday because if West Ham won yesterday, Tottenham would be in a massive problem, guys. They really would be in a huge spot of bother, if you know what I mean, guys. And I still think they are. I can't see a win coming out of Tottenham Hotspur. However, I would say best wishes to Igor Tudor, who had a family issue to attend, and wishing him all the best. Of course, guys. But taking it back, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Tyrone Mitchell to Manchester United, huge possibilities in the summer, guys. Manchester United are looking at contingency plans if their first choices don't go ahead as well. It's very important that we do that. Obviously, the World Cup being on, we haven't got much time to negotiate with. So it's very important that Man United do have contingency plans and do have a backup option if the first choices go to war, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me just say hello to the community, guys. A big up, everyone. I hope everyone is blessed, of course. Big up, Ephraim. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up, Sanjay, again. And big up, Coco, the legend. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. Absolutely. Ain't it crazy, Coco saying? Let me just read this. Ain't it crazy how fans hate Arsenal for losing and coming second again compared to how we were hated for dominating Europe? Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, Arsenal are one of the most not disliked football clubs, but one of the most disliked fan bases in Europe, in the world, in fact. And everywhere I go, people talk about Arsenal fans and their delusions. We don't hate Arsenal. It's not like a hate, but it is like a bitterness towards Arsenal because of the way their fans are. We all know that if Arsenal won the game yesterday, we all know how they would over-celebrate. And the first thing they were mentioned, you know as well as I do, Coco, is that the first thing they were mentioned is Manchester United. The first thing that will come out of their mouths is Manchester United, 100%, if Arsenal won yesterday. However, experience told yesterday, and I hate to say it, Arteta was tactically inept yesterday, played the defensive style again. So much talent on the pitch, yet playing defensively. Absolutely disgraceful. It's an embarrassment, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you guys. It is embarrassing. Arteta was embarrassing yesterday. And to be honest with you, playing Kepa as well, it was a mistake for me. Kepa, who made the first mistake, the mistake for the goal, ridiculous, really bad mistake. And I think that Man City also out-tacticked them. In the first half, it was all Arsenal. Arsenal weren't creating clear-cut chances, so to speak. They had one chance at the beginning. Great save from James Trafford, of course, who played very well, in my opinion. James Trafford was excellent, and he really did claim a stake in that goal, of course. But then Man City blended into the game, and tactically, Pep Guardiola schooled Arteta yesterday, and you have to say that he schooled it. And the apprentice got apprenticed, guys, and it was Pep Guardiola's day. Congratulations to them. Hopefully, we will see Manchester United in these finals more often, very, very soon, guys, because that's where we belong. We belong in these finals. We shouldn't be watching these finals hoping that another team win, of course. It is a little bit embarrassing sometimes, but it is what it is at the moment. Coco, Sal, what do you think of the summer window will be off before the World Cup, after World Cup? I think hopefully, obviously, I'm not a fly in the room. I wish I was a fly in the room. I wish I was had the inside knowledge about what they're saying behind the scenes, in the shadows, whatever it is. I would say that Manchester United need to get some groundwork done before the World Cup, whether that be a verbal agreement or a financial agreement with the club. I think Manchester United do need to get something down in paper. I think Man United do need to get something solidified before the end of the World Cup, because we've got a lot of work to do. It's not just 1 or 2 players that we need to sign. We've got 8 or 9 players that we need to sign. There's certain players that are leaving the football club as well, which is going to take time as well, obviously, out of our time. The problem with Manchester United is that we don't do 2 deals at once. We have been like this for many, many years now, is that Man United seem to not have the ability to do 2 deals at once. And I think this is the biggest issue with Manchester United over the years, is that we have one player, we're very tunnel visioned in regards to that one player, and we don't look left, we don't look right. We just look at that one player. For example, in Bremo during last transfer window in the summer, and we took 3 months to sign in Bremo. You know what I mean? And any other club, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, would have got that deal done quickly. I do hope that Man United move more quickly, more potently, more swiftly, because we do have a lot of work to do, and we cannot be resting on our laurels in this transfer window. We have a number of players that are leaving the football club. We have a number of players that are potentially leaving the football club. This is why it is a very big concern for me. We can't just sign 5 players and that's it, say we've done it. We've got Champions League, we've got League Cup, FA Cup and Premier League to negotiate next season. And we have to make sure that we are ready, guys, with the squad, of course, because you can't just have a paper-thin squad. Now, this is why I think that Manchester United are targeting the likes of Tyrone Mitchell, the likes of Lewis Skelly, these type of players, because they want a squad. They want to bolster that squad a little bit. Not necessarily first team. They're not necessarily first team. They're players that can bolster the squad. And when adversity strikes or injury or suspension, you can bring on one of those players and they can slot into the team with quality and experience, of course, guys. So Miles Lewis-Skelly, for example, will be a perfect squad player for me. Very good player, young still, high ceiling, could be nurtured into the team. And I think he will be an absolute brilliant player for Man United. And then you have, obviously, Patrick Dorgu, who is also there as well. And injuries coming back as well would be very, very helpful. We need our players to come back from injury, of course. We got a lot of players out. And Licha Martinez, I don't know what's going on with him. We have to look at that critically as well. De Ligt, we have to look at critically as well, because they have been out for so long. Licha Martinez, we already know this is a big issue. Obviously, we've got Aidan Heaven, who can play in that left-sided centre-back position, but we do need more. We do need more, especially if we're going to be playing in the Champions League next season, which looks likely, guys. And one thing I would say is that it's a great achievement for Man United to get in the Champions League. But one thing I'll remember is when Jose Mourinho came second in the league. And when we came second in the league, you have to have the certain mentality here. You have to have that mentality where, right, we're second in the league. How do we come first? Not how do we maintain? And I think this has been the problem with Man United over the years, is that when Man United get in a good position, whether it is on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he came second or Jose Mourinho when he came second, Man United were always looking to maintain and not looking to push up and push forward in regards to coming first in the league table. I think Man United can push on. I don't think we're as far away as people think. I think if we signed a few midfielders in there, maybe 3 midfielders, 2 or 3 midfielders, the fullbacks get covered, and we have a backup striker probably, I think that would be very good, guys. I think that would be enough to move Man United forward, so to speak. But then obviously you've got to look at the squad players as well and what squad players we're going to bring in. However, having said all that, I'm very, very excited, guys, about the youth academy. I'm excited about JJ Gabriel coming through the ranks. I'm excited about Jim Thwaites coming through the ranks as well. There's a few players there in the Manchester United youth team that I think are going to make a mark next season, including obviously Shea Lacey, Kolungi, Fredrickson as well. I think they're all going to make a mark next season. I really do think so. So we need to think about the youth players as well, and we can't stifle them as well, obviously, guys, because when you look at Miles Lewis-Skelly, he was a youth player at Arsenal, guys, as well. Do you know what I mean? So why not bring through a couple of our youth players, you know, and get them a little bit of experience, especially in the FA Cup and the League Cup next season, which will be very, very important. It's a shame that we got knocked out of the FA Cup and the League Cup this season, of course, because we could have played JJ Gabriel in the FA Cup. We couldn't play him in the league, but we could play him in the FA Cup. And we could have tried some youngsters out in the League Cup, of course, which is disappointing that we didn't get a chance to do that. But next season, we could get a chance to do that. Guys, don't forget to check out my video in regards to Jim Thwaites. I've got a video coming up on my channel at 3 p.m. UK time, analysing the youth team. Jim Thwaites is the player that I'm looking at and analysing today. So don't forget to join me on that one, guys. And don't forget, of course, big up, Richard. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Hope you're doing blessed. Who do you think will be our first signing this summer? When? Can I be honest with you guys in regards to the first signing at Manchester United? I'm a bit of a dilemma at the moment because I don't really think we should sign this player. But if I was to put gun to head, if I was to say who will Manchester United sign first in this summer window, I would actually say Carlos Baleba. I would, and the reason I say this is because he's easy. It's because he's easy. So that looks like the most likely signing for Manchester United first. I know in October that Manchester United did the groundwork with Carlos Baleba. They spoke to Carlos Baleba's entourage at the end of October, and agreements verbally were already in place. So this is why I think that Man United will still try and pursue this deal and still try and push this deal. Do I think it would be the right option for Manchester United? Absolutely not. I don't think Man United should sign Carlos Baleba. However, if Man United did sign a Carlos Baleba, of course, I'm going to give him my upteenth amount of support. I'm going to support him with everything, of course, guys. And I hope he does very well at Manchester United. Of course, his form has been brought into question over the last season. He has not played well at all. People are actually making videos of his performance against Liverpool on the weekend. And these little tiny clips of doing very, very simple things do not help the cause, to be honest with you. It just tries to make it out that you're trying to force it upon us and stuff like that. But I do think it will be Carlos Baleba. I don't believe it should be Carlos Baleba. There is a lot of talk about Tonali. There is a lot of talk about Guimaraes. Of course, Fabrizio Romano was talking about Guimaraes yesterday. I am of the impression, for what I've heard, that Manchester United are a little bit skeptical about Bruno Guimaraes because of his age. 28, 29, 75 million pounds, guys. It's a lot of money to pay for a player of that ilk. No doubt that Bruno Guimaraes is a very good player. I have no doubt about it. And I think he would be a very good player for Manchester United. But Manchester United need to stop looking at players that are really past their peak, so to speak, right? We signed Casemiro around the same age. Remember when we signed Casemiro? We signed him about that age, about that 28, 29, I think it was age. I think it was even younger than that. And I think Man United need to look at players that are going to be a mainstay in that Man United midfield for many years to come, i.e. Wharton, Anderson, Stiller, these type of players that are going to be there for many years to come. And obviously fill up the squad with the likes of Saïd El-Mala, Ayoub Boyodi, and these kind of players as well, guys. And Lamine Camara, you know, and Agume. These players are good as well, and they're going to be cheap, you know. And I think Man United need to think shrewdly, cleverly, maturely as well, even in regard to this transfer window, and not just go for the player that they feel is going to be easy. Number one, Premier League experience, wants to come to Man United, easy. No, we need to try and look at players that are going to be a little bit more tricky to get, and players that, you know what, have got a longevity for 5 or 6 years, 5 to 10 years, of course. Coco, for real, I can't wait till next season to be in all those competitions, but we got so much work to do in the transfer market. It's insane. It is insane, Coco. This is why I was lost for words when after the transfer window in January that Man United didn't do any business. I was absolutely flabbergasted that they didn't do any business in the January transfer window, because it would have actually saved some time, of course, obviously, you know, and they didn't do it. They didn't even get a verbal agreement going on. There was a little bit of talk about Man United having little tiny hints about Anderson. Nothing solid, of course. this is the type of thing that Man United should have been doing. Man United should have been like, right, okay, we're going to speak to Anderson's entourage. However, I did say many months ago about Wharton, about Anderson, that these teams are waiting for the World Cup. They're waiting for the World Cup. They're waiting to see the performances of their players in the World Cup. For example, if Nottingham Forest get relegated, which is a possibility, of course, their price of Anderson, the price of their key players, Murillo and Gibbs, these type of players will decrease. So what these type of players, and the same goes with Crystal Palace, what these type of players are doing, and what these type of teams are doing, they're waiting for the World Cup. So they have a good World Cup, and obviously their price increases, and it also opens up the door for a transfer merry-go-round, a transfer battle between other teams because they've had such a good World Cup. Now, I said it a long time ago that I think Anderson will be one of the players of the tournament in the World Cup coming up, and I still believe that. And this is why Man United need to be clever. Man City are lurking around, of course. Man City are lurking around Anderson. Man City fans already feel that they've signed Anderson. They haven't, but they already feel that because they believe that their project is more stronger than ours. You can't argue with that at the moment. You can't argue that their project is more stronger than ours. And yesterday's game sort of doubled down on that, didn't it? It's sort of like when you win trophies, it adds attraction, doesn't it? At the end of the day. And if Pep Guardiola stays at the football club, it's going to be like Anderson. Will Anderson sign for Man City or Man United? If Man United keep Michael Carrick, what's going to be the most attractive proposition for Anderson? And obviously, we have to be realistic and we have to be critical and we have to understand that Michael Carrick won't be as attractive as Pep Guardiola, unless the only way I can see it is if Man United go out and get Luis Enrique, of course. Now, speaking of Luis Enrique, guys, apparently, Manchester United have held initial talks with the entourage of Luis Enrique about a potential move to Manchester United. Now, this doesn't mean that Luis Enrique is going to go to Manchester United. It basically means that Luis Enrique is keeping his options open in regards to potential clubs that he can manage. Now, it does seem like Luis Enrique is not such a far-fetched option for Man United. Of course, there's rumours circling around that Luis Enrique will not go to Manchester United because he won't have the power. Now, Manchester United are pretty clever in regards to how they think about certain managers and how they're going to approach this transfer window, including the managerial position. Manchester United know what Luis Enrique wants. They know how Luis Enrique is as a manager, as a person, and what he would request from Manchester United. Of course, Luis Enrique is not going to listen to Jason Wilcox, of course, in his ear, telling them about tactics and team formations. Of course, he's not going to do that. Manchester United understand that. They understand that, and they understand that if Manchester United want to get the best, they have to give the power to the best at the end of the day. Because a manager like Luis Enrique would turn around to the likes of Jason Wilcox and say, well, I won the Champions League. Who are you to tell me, blah, blah, blah. Now, the reason that Jason Wilcox got so involved with Ruben Amorim, obviously, he didn't agree with the formation. He didn't agree with the three at the back. And he had his own ideas. He had his own philosophy about football, even though he hasn't managed a football club before, Jason Wilcox. Now, Jason Wilcox will not be as vocal if Luis Enrique comes to the football club. He will not be as vocal. Manchester United will leave it to Luis Enrique. Will listen to Luis Enrique. Of course, it will still go to an adjudicator of personnel who will decide transfers, but Luis Enrique will have a big say in regards to which transfers come to Man United, which won't. Of course, Manchester United initially will listen to Luis Enrique very, very with ears all open, what I would say. That's what I would say. Ears open. And basically, Manchester United have been speaking to the entourage of Luis Enrique, inquiring about the possibility of getting Luis Enrique in the summer. It's pretty obvious that Man United have narrowed down the search for a new manager to around 3. And guys, that is probably Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, and Michael Carrick. Now, the likes of Tuchel, the likes of De Zerbi are in the pecking order. They are an option, but they're after those managers that I've just mentioned there. The likes of Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann, and Michael Carrick are ahead of the pack. They're ahead of the pack, and then you get to De Zerbi, then you get to Tuchel and managers of that ilk, and then you get to obviously Areola and Glasner, who bloody hell, please no, absolutely. At the end of the day, big up Richard. Big up Coco as well, my friend. Big up Sal, big up Metal. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. No action taken against Kepa for that foul yesterday. It looked like worse than Maguire did. Absolutely, mate. Look, we all know, Metal, that the decisions that happened against Man United on Friday were absolutely diabolical. It's not surprising. We do have the referees against us. We have the PGMO against us for whatever reason it is. Even though we put the Premier League on the map, they still hate us with their guts, of course. Friday was an absolute embarrassment. Friday was an exposure of what they really are. And every single game that goes by, you can see the hatred for Manchester United. You can see the hatred that they have for us. You can see that they didn't want us to win the game on Friday. I think it was pretty obvious. And this isn't an isolated incident. This has been going on for a long time. Now, you saw yesterday that a number of decisions similar to the one that happened against Bournemouth on Friday did not get given. And that's precisely what we're talking about, isn't it? Is, you know, we know what's going on. I know what's going on in regards to referees. I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, it's just inconsistency. It just it happens to everyone. It's just inconsistencies. Well, no, it happens to Manchester United a lot. And it will happen to Man United again, God forbid. It will happen for Man United again, and we will be disappointed again. And I don't want these referees who already potentially cost us a second place. Because if Man United won against Bournemouth on Friday, which we should have done, Man United would have been 4 points from fourth. You know, at the end of the day, 4 points from second. Excuse me, 4 points from second. Now we're 6. And now it's a little bit more difficult. And this is what happens. Are the referees going to pay us that little bit extra money that we're going to get for finishing second? Hell no, they're not going to do that, are they? And this is what we're talking about at the end of the day. They don't have any responsibility. They brush it under the carpet. The next game, he'll be refereeing a game in the Premier League. There's no league of referees. There's no standards. There's no repercussions, or you know, in regards to the way they perform. There's no relegations for referees, which I think there should be, or fines and stuff like that. You know, it's disgraceful. Robert, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. MLS will be a good signing at Miles Lewis-Skelly. Probably 19 years old. Is a good player. You know what I mean? Gregory, good morning. Sal, how many players do we need to bring in this summer? How many players will United actually bring in this summer? That's the key question, Gregory. You know, big up, Gregory. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope everything is good for you. Hope you had a fabulous weekend. What I would say is that Man United need about 8 players to 10. 8 players to 10 players to come in, considering the players that are going to be leaving the football club. I've already said that Rasmus is leaving, Rashford is leaving, Sancho is leaving, right? Those 3 are leaving already. Casemiro will be leaving. And then you're getting into the realms of Ugarte, Mount. You know, those players may be leaving. Xerxes could be leaving the football club. You know, Maguire may sign a contract, so I'm not going to include him. Manano's going to be leaving the football club as well. He's another one that could be leaving the football club. Will Luke Shaw stay at the football club? That's 9 players right there. Will he stay at the football club? Will Diogo Dalot stay at the football club? Man United have got a lot of work to do. And we're not even talking about the likes of Collier and players like that, who potentially will be leaving the football club as well. So this is what we're talking about. Man United have got a lot of work to do, an incredible amount of work to do going forward in regards to the transfers. What's realistic for me, Gregory, is exactly what I said yesterday. I can see Man United signing 4 or 5 players, and that's it. That will be another 4 or 5 out of 10 window for me, because Man United need a lot more than 4 or 5 players. That's what's going to be. And I guarantee you guys, you can revisit this stream that we will sign 4 or 5 players, and that will be it. And that's the absolute maximum, guys. That's what I'm talking about. And the old excuse, the old chestnut, will be about PSR, FFP, World Cup, European football. All that business will be put onto the table. Now, if we do employ Michael Carrick, if Michael Carrick stays at Manchester United, I want Michael Carrick to be backed to the hill and back. I don't want these owners going to Michael Carrick thinking employing Michael Carrick because Michael Carrick is a soft touch. Michael Carrick will be accepting of what we give him. He will just be happy to get the job. I don't want this happening, of course. And this is a potential thing that can happen when you employ managers like Michael Carrick, because this is what happened like with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and things like that, of course, if we remember. Big up, Mandem. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see you. Morning. This is the kind of news I like hearing. The board should start the groundwork early from Enrique. As I said earlier, our board have to be smart in this coming window for us to improve. They have to read the market. Absolutely, Mandem. Big up, Mandem. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Yeah, they have to read the market. They have to predict what's going to happen, and it's pretty obvious. You don't need to be a psychic to know what's going to happen in the summer. Luis Enrique is going to be wanted by various clubs. Anderson is going to be wanted by various clubs. Walton, Stiller, all these. You've got to be proactive, and you've got to steal a march whilst you can. And I think Man United should. And if obviously these rumours are indeed true, and Man United are starting initial talks with Luis Enrique, it's fabulous. It's fantastic. Obviously, it doesn't mean that Manchester United are going to get Luis Enrique. It doesn't mean that Luis Enrique will come to Manchester United as well. All it means is that we are trying. And that's all we can say. As long as Man United try and get managers like Luis Enrique over the line, that would be absolutely fantastic for me. And because I think he's the next big thing. I think Luis Enrique, I think his balance is completely perfect. I think he's disciplined. He's a good man manager. He's a good tactician. He plays good football. And he's an all-round nice guy as well. Mandem, we all knew that Arteta would still use the anti-football tactics, and that is a boring match that really highlighted that Arsenal is a shit team and that is embarrassing. Guys, you know what I would say? Arsenal will win the league this season, most likely. Arsenal will win the league. But I said it, they'll be the worst Premier League champions of all time. And I'm not saying that because I'm being bitter, I don't like Arsenal, things like that. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you, if Man City or Arsenal win the league. Right. But what I would say is this, right? Arsenal, their brand of football, they don't need to play that brand of football. Let me just say this to my fellow Arsenal fans, right? Arsenal do not need to play that brand of football. They don't need to play such a pragmatic defensive style of football, which they did yesterday. And not only that, guys, it was also the selections in regards to the team. I felt that Arteta made a number of selection errors, tactical errors as well. And in the end, you would argue that Arteta was schooled by Pep Guardiola. Congratulations to Pep. And that's what I'd say. Revert7, how you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see you. One name there which has been propped up lately is Ajay. Since the turn of the year, the form has been remarkable. He's a tall and being forward who likes to run at players and has a good shot. The thing with Manchester United are looking at a number of players, Revert7, my guy. But Man United are looking at a certain thing as well. They're looking at attitude. They're looking at personality. They're looking at mentality, professionalism. They're looking at all that as well. There's no doubt that there are players around Europe that we haven't heard of and that we are linked to. And there's many that I've been told that we are linked to that is not even worth mentioning because you won't have heard of him. Right. And I would say that Man United are not only looking at a certain talent, they're not only looking at his goals or his stats, they're looking at the mentality, they're looking at professionalism, they're looking at what he does behind the scenes. And this is something that Alex Ferguson used to do so potently many, many years ago. If people remember Alex Ferguson, what he used to do, he didn't just sign the talent. He signed the man. He would actually go out. He would go have lunch, have dinner with the families and things like that, at the end of the day, guys, and get to know the person, get to know his background, and things like that. Do you know what I mean? He would make an analogy after that, whether we should sign him or whether we shouldn't, at the end of the day. Now, players like, as you mentioned there, Ajali. Of course, there are many Ajalis. There is Ajali who plays in the Premier League. There is also one that plays for, I think you mean Junior Ajali, who plays for Ivory Coast, if I'm not wrong. He plays for Verona as well. And he's a forward. Now, look, Man United do need backup forwards, I think. I think Man United do need that extra forward. We do need to take the load off obviously Sesko. But I think if Man United bring in another striker, I think Man United need to bring in an experienced striker to nurture Sesko, so to speak, rather than bringing in another youngster, if you know what I mean, guys, if respectively. Mandem, if we sign Miles Skelly, he'll perform for us, because he'll actually be given time to play. However, Arsenal won't let him go unless he asks the club to leave. Doesn't seem like an easy deal. It won't be an easy deal. And one thing I will say about it, Mandem, is that I mentioned this transfer about 6 months ago. The fact that it's propped up again, the fact that it's become more and more potent in regards to the media waves, does add a little bit of truth to it. And as I've always believed, in football especially, there's no smoke without fire. There's no smoke without fire. And when transfers are concerned, there's no smoke without fire. And if Man United were linked to Luis Skelly, many months ago, and this news resurfaces, then you can bet your bottom dollar that this player is on Man United's wish list, and and he could be coming to Man United. Absolutely. Morning Sal. Certain teams talking about winning quads and tripling and tripping at the first hurdle. Joke man team. Glad Liverpool and Chelsea lost. Big up. Not letting that clown of a referee decision cost us. It did cost us, V. It did cost us. I'm not going to let. It did cost us. It cost us 2 points, V. 2 points. It cost us 4 points from second place. And the rewards from that are significant, by the way. It did cost us, and I don't want anyone to brush that under the carpet. Just because Chelsea lost, just because Liverpool lost, actually makes me more pissed off. It actually makes me more annoyed, because Man United could have been well clear, have 1 foot in that Champions League right now. So I don't think we should brush the fact that, it didn't cost us. It cost us, because it still cost us 2 points. It did, factually, and obviously it annoys me. Absolutely. Revert 7. Also, Sal, in the chat, it looks like the academy games from now on will be shown on Man United's YouTube channel. Yeah, it's good, because at the end of the day, they're not getting enough custom MUTV. Not many people are subscribing to MUTV. So at the end of the day, I would say, yeah, that's a good thing. It's a bad thing as well, by the way, because other people can start talking about our players and watch the YouTube games and stuff like that. I've got MUTV, by the way. I am subscribed to it. I do watch a lot of youth games. I do watch the women's game as well, and I do analyze things. And I won't be. I think the most important, the only time I really enjoy MUTV is in the summer, when the preseason games are on. The preseason games are on, and I would say. The board should first focus on quality purpose that will start from us, not easy deals. Let's get the best in the move easy for the rotation. We'll have many games to see. Absolutely. Doesn't mean you can't turn your back on Miles Skelly and players like that, because they're good players and they're ready to start as well. A 90, and we shouldn't be going for the easy target and the acquirable target. That's absolutely right, Mandem. And we shouldn't be, because we should go for the best. And we should try and fight for the best. Absolutely. V. Well, a 90-point deduction coming to fruition would just leave City looking like the most desirable team to join, won't it? Let alone Anderson join them. Well, a 90-point deduction is not going to happen, V. I don't sense sarcasm in your voice. Would just leave City looking like the most desirable team to, won't it? I don't know what you're talking about, V, because it is allegedly. I don't know where you're getting a 90-point deduction from, V. I think you should go to bed, V. Absolutely. No 90-point deduction. In the summer, Man City are not going to get a 90-point deduction. Right? We're talking about the summer here, V. Calm down on the sarcasm, my friend. All right? It sounds like you're being very sarcastic. I know more than you, mate. So just be quiet. All right? Don't be sarcastic. My friend, V. Wayne, I want Carrick. Fair play, Wayne. Let's see what happens. I'll make an effort to see Ajani live in action. Plays. He's a youth cup player, mate. Again, like Mandem said, we're getting excited about youth players. What we're doing, you know what I mean? We got enough of them. We've got our own youth players. We got JJ Gabriel. We got Shea Lacey. We've got looking at youth players. Because you saw this player, and then Sonny's caught your eye, then Sonny, you're excited and getting giddy about one player and talking about him non-stop. Ajani. I get it. You liked what you saw, but it doesn't mean he's right for Man United at the end of the day. Revert 7, Axwell needs to be investigated. His VR twat screwed us at Burnley too. Many games. It's about 6 games, Revert 7, by the way. There's about 6 games that he screwed us, Stop thinking with your heart about Carrick. Follow through with your head. Exactly. You have to think with your head in football. Absolutely. Relegation Ferguson fines is absolute must. Agreed. Absolutely. Agreed. I'm really not with the Belabour signing. He has been so inconsistent this season. If and when he joins, I know our fan base will turn on him early when he doesn't perform. He's just spent. I agree, Mandem. And the thing is, Mandem, the most important thing is we need to look at the red flags before it happens. And many of us are. You're looking at the red flags. I'm looking at the red flags before they happen. Do you know what I mean? We are looking at the red flags. You know what I mean? And we're intelligent to do that. Not tooting our own horn, but it's true. If we sign Baleba and Baleba plays poorly at the start of next season, everyone's going to be saying, well, we told you we shouldn't have signed Baleba. We did say we shouldn't have signed Baleba, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. I get it. I know you're talking about Revert 7, but why are you obsessed with this player all of a sudden? At the end of the day, he's a 17-year-old. You know what I mean? There's many players out there we need now. We got enough project players in the youth. I don't know if you watch youth football. We got enough in the youth, mate. It's not going to help United, but you might want to hear that FIFA has downgraded Stuart Atwood to below average, and he won't be participating in the World Cup. Don't think he ever was, Gregory. To be honest with you. I think that will go down to Michael Oliver and people like that. Big up Sal. Arsenal still showing bridesmaids mentality, and that league might be all day. I think it's going to be very difficult. It'd be very surprising if Arsenal do bottle the league. They're in a very good position. They have to lose to Man City, of course, at the Etihad, and they have to lose a couple of more games, or maybe draw one and lose one. So basically, in a nutshell, they need to lose 2 more games and draw one, maybe, and that's what it is. Morning, hope you're doing well. I can see another 4 or 5 10 window for us and need to sort out that midfield. Must be prepared to spend 300 million only on midfield. I think it's even more than that, Christian. Big up, Christian. Hope you're doing well. I think it's even more than that. I think it's even more than 300 million. I think Man United needs to be in 500 plus. You think about it, how much money are going to be saved for Man United in the summer? How many players are going to be leaving, including Casemiro? 350 grand a week is going to be saved on the books. And you look at obviously Rasmus and Rashford and Sancho. Guys, we're going to be saving a lot of money in the summer. So 300 million it doesn't even touch the surface, if you ask me. I think Man United need to do 500 million above. And obviously you're looking at the fact that Manchester United are going to be getting 100 million from the Champions League. You look at that, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And you think that, well, Man United absolutely should be spending what Liverpool spent minimum, you know, and more, because of what we need and how much rebuilding and how many players are going to be leaving the football club, of course. Sanjay, I met some Arsenal fans in the pub yesterday. They blamed the loss on them missing Eze, for goodness sake. Oh, my goodness me. Look, I was surprised by the lineup. Don't get me wrong. I was surprised by the lineup. I was surprised that he played Havertz instead of Eze yesterday, in particular, Eze's performance against Leverkusen the other day. What I would say this, right, is that weren't the reason they lost the game yesterday. That was not. In the second half in particular, they were poor. They were very poor. And another thing, they played defensive. So they got what they deserved. They went defensive. They went not to lose. They didn't go out there trying to win. They went not to lose. And that's the wrong mentality to have, you know. Pep Guardiola should take a sabbatical like Jurgen Klopp. I think he might do, Samuel. Samuel, I'm hearing various rumors around Pep Guardiola about his mental health, about stress. You can tell in his body language. It doesn't take a rocket science to see that Pep Guardiola's body language is very subpar. Is very. He looks very like disinterested, disengaged, if you know what I mean. And yeah, he's always like this, you know what I mean, and stuff. And he does look disengaged. And you know, he has been working very hard for many years, but that just doubles down how difficult it was for Sir Alex Ferguson for 26 plus years at Manchester United. How much pressure, how much stress continuously, guys, he had to suffer. And that's exactly what it is. And the same with Pep Guardiola. I think Pep Guardiola is going through the same exact thing. I think Pep Guardiola is under enormous stress, enormous pressure. And I think we have to think about mental health as well. We do, you know, at the end of the day. Big up Kenny. Good to see you. Ed, we need to Enrique and sign 3 elite midfielders, 2 proper centre-backs and a left winger. I agree, you know, guys, I agree at the end of the day. Guys, absolutely. V, no, not being sarcastic towards you. It sounded sarcastic, mate, hearing how City fans around me going on about Anderson. There's City fans around you. I lived in England my whole life. I never see a City fan. Anderson joining them is like a done deal, annoying, but nothing towards you, Sal. Hoping you get points cut. Look, I would say, V, no offense taken. It's all right, mate. I was just being a bit banterish. But what I would say is this. I don't think they're going to get a 90-point deduction, mate. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to get a 90-point deduction, right? I think that they will get a slap on the wrist. And it's wrong. Of course it's wrong. I agree it's wrong. And I think they're just going to get a slap on the wrist. I don't think anything big is going to happen to them, even though it should. If it was Manchester United, V, my friend, if it was Manchester United, it would be a 90-point deduction. Bet your bottom dollar about that, absolutely. But big up, V. No problem. Take it easy. I hope you're well, my guy. Mitchell from Crystal Palace. Yes, mate. Yes. Apple should never ref another United game again because it's clear he has an agenda against us, and we'd be clear out of Liverpool and Chelsea with only 6 games to go. We'd be clear. We'll be gunning for second place, LT. You remember when certain man on this channel came on this channel, right, and called me a liar. Called me a liar because they said that Man United have got no chance of coming second place. Do you think it's no chance now? Do you think it's no chance? And I said second, third, and even then they were saying second or third, no chance. You know, you remember that Pratt boxer used to come on here? You remember him saying that? You know, with Man United, and you know, you're lying to the fans saying that Man United can have a possibility of coming second. Man United won on Friday. We've got 4 points from second. That's not unrealistic, guys. You know, we're still talking about Man City winning the league. How many points are they behind Arsenal right now? You know what I mean? And that's what we're talking about here. You know, I feel like it's not only Atwell, LT, it's a few referees, and it is the PGMO as well, I would say. And it's not just him. You know, there's many referees that are openly against Man United, and it's so frustrating. Pep looks burnt out. He does. I like to stick out the final 15 minutes with you, wonderful guys. But I'm going to make it tonight. It's 2:45 and I need to sleep. Big up, Gregory. Sweet dreams, my guy. Have a good one. Have a good sleep, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Absolute legend, of course. One of the coveted members of Stretford Post. Thank you, Gregory, very much. I don't believe the owner's getting the best players. I am scared with the Champions League, with the players we have. Look, Viz, my friend, let me just tell you something. Don't be scared, my friend. Don't be scared. Be concerned. Don't be scared, right? At the end of the day, you could be concerned. I'm concerned. Obviously, I'm concerned, but I'm not scared because Manchester United will live on. I'm concerned about what we have to do this summer. I am. And I think that we have to look at this critically. We have to look at this realistically, and we have to call the red flags whilst we feel the red flags, because there are red flags. There's lots of red flags going on at Man United at the moment, you know, and they've got a lot of work to do. Let's just fingers crossed, Viz. Fingers crossed that we get the work done and Man United pull off some miracle. You know what I mean? In their eyes. 300 million just to fix the midfield, so that's where they are going to get another. I mean, that's too much for the midfield, to be honest. I don't think Man United are going to be spending 100 million on 3 midfielders. 300 million on 3 midfielders. That's 100 million each. I mean, that's a lot. You know, we get Anderson for about 70, 80. We'll get Stiller for about 60. And we'll probably sign another player for about another 60. That's not 300 million. So, yeah, a lot of more money than that, my friend. A lot more money needs to be spent than 300 million on the whole team. Injuries, Coco. Injuries next season will be a worry, even with the new players. Our physios suck. They do. I don't know why they haven't been called out. Get the owners out and get Luis Enrique in. Big up, Viz. I agree. Absolutely. Reva, Thwaites looks good. I've watched him every under-18 games this season and on TV, and I hope to go a few more before the end of the season. Thwaites has a lot of internet hype. His compilations look good, to be fair. It's not really internet hype. He's a good player, mate. He's a good player. Whether he transcends that into the first team, then yeah, you could say Anjai is internet hype. I think he's internet hype. You know, Thwaites is a good player, and there's a lot of accolades around Thwaites, and it's not internet hype. You know, definitely not LT. Absolutely not. Revert 7, absolutely not. LT, we should be starting the groundwork on players and managers this international break, because we really need to get enough players. And if we plan to have a good window, then we need to start now. Agreed, absolutely 100%. Whether they do that is another question, of course. West Ham United play on a Friday after international break against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That win could send Tottenham Hotspur to the bottom of the league. They need to go to the bottom of the league. But I agree, give them space to develop their game. I remember Andres Pereira was a decent free kick specialist. Not as good as Thwaites, though. And again, guys, let me just say about football IQ, never paint same players with the same brush. He's nothing to do with Pereira. Pereira, obviously, pre-season Perlo, was around for a long time. Different type of player to Thwaites. We don't paint him with the same brush. We don't bring in old players and say that, oh, yeah, add a little bit of subtle negativity to the... That's what it is. It's subtle negativity to the proceedings, I would say to you, verse 7. And I would say that Thwaites, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? I could say that Njayi is just a glorified, how would I say it? Whatever player. I don't want to diss another player, but is a glorified another player. You know what I mean? Just because you like a player doesn't mean that you glorify them. You put this 17-year-old in this pedestal, but you say, well, I'm not sure about Thwaites. Yeah, he might be just like Pereira. I'm not sure about. You know what I mean? This is how it comes across. We praise our own players. We want our own players to do well. He's not like Pereira. Nothing like Pereira. He's actually a good all-round player. And I don't think Pereira was such a bad player in regards to that. But I think that we'll have to wait and see what he is. I don't think he's anything at the moment. His technique is different to Pereira. His free kick technique is different to Pereira. I liken it to Beckham. Watch my show later on. I've got a show being uploaded at 3 o'clock UK time, guys. Check it out. I'm talking about Jim Thwaites more intentively. Let's go. Likes up. Thank you so much, United Man. Guys, don't forget, we've got 74 in the house right now. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. If guys can do that, be absolutely fantastic. Let's keep the likes up, guys. Let's do this, guys. Look, we have to get to 50. That's the threshold of Stretford Post, Breaking Dawn, early in the morning, Breaking Dawn in. It's all about that, guys. It's all about the 50 likes. It's all about 50 likes on the realest, most vocal channel in social media, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. It's great to wake up in the morning and talk about the team you support rather than pretending to support the club just to get likes and clicks. It's great to talk about Man United every single day, guys. Absolutely. But thank you, Mandem. Legend, of course. That's why he is a mod, of course. Absolutely. Big up. Look, guys, we don't know who's going to be the next superstar. There could be a player that plays in the 3rd division in Belarus, right? Who is the next Lionel Messi? No, we don't know that. But what we have to do, we have to analyze things maturely. It's very easy when you're watching TV to look at a player, but he looks good. Oh, he looks good. And then have this thing where we got to sign him. You know what I mean? And that's what we got to prevent doing. And that's how I hope that Ineos and stuff don't. You know what I mean? Christian, I can see us all back in Carrick next season because the club will look to save money in every position. So we as fans will hope for the best. Carrick isn't the best option. And Carrick, for me, my prediction will be he won't be backed to the level that he should be backed. And he won't perform to the level that we expected of him. Man United, if Man United truly want to challenge for the league, they need Luis Enrique. And that's what I would say. I don't think we should be taking a risk on Michael Carrick. But that's just my opinion. If Luis Enrique is available, it should be Luis Enrique. If Nagelsmann's available, it should be Nagelsmann. Michael Carrick is 3rd in that list for me. That's what I would say. I've seen too many games this season with Carrick, right, where it's a red flag. I.e., look at Newcastle yesterday, guys. Look at them. We lost to them against 10 men. Look at Crystal Palace. If it weren't for that penalty, we wouldn't have beaten them. You have to look at things critically. And you have to look at things like that. I don't think, my opinion, having watched football, analysed football, studying football, I don't think Carrick is tactically inept enough. That's what I think. I don't think his assistant coaches are good enough. I don't think the all-round thing is good enough. I think Amarim's a better manager. The problem is that Amarim was changing for the long term and he didn't have the long term. Carrick is changing for the short term. Carrick is playing a counter-attacking football. And let's not forget also that Carrick played under managed under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was assistant manager under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So we have to look at that critically. Obviously, we're going to analyze everything at the end of the season and see where we are, performances, blah, 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 and stuff like that. We've got some difficult games to go. We've got Chelsea away. We've got Liverpool, of course. that Liverpool game and that Chelsea game solidify us in the position that we are. It's going to be difficult games. But these are games that we, you know, especially Chelsea away, we haven't won there in a while, probably 6 years. We haven't won there in a while. And we need to start changing that narrative. We really do. We need to start changing the narrative, and we need to start winning these type of games. Liverpool, I think, will win. I actually think that. I think Liverpool will raise their game against Man United. I think Man United will beat Liverpool. Now, we've got to wait 20 days, guys. 20 days for the Leeds United game on the 13th of April. Isn't it ridiculous, guys? Isn't it crazy that we have to wait that long for football because we have to watch bloody pre-season, bloody friendly international games at this time? The international game should have came at the end of the season. That's what should have happened. You know, not now, but it is what it is, of course. And I will be doing some watch-alongs for them, by the way. Keep your notifications on and stuff like that. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But, guys, many in the house, guys, some of you have not clicked to like. Please, could you kindly smash a like on the video, guys? Very important you do that. Also, put your notifications on, guys, because obviously when I go live on other people's channels, I'm on Hussam's channel every Thursday. I'm on Mo's channel most Fridays as well. So you can join me on there as well when I look at things from another point of view, and I talk to fans of other channels and stuff like that, other fans of other clubs, of course. So, yeah, which is fun. And I always hold my own, of course, as people know. To be honest, for me, Carrick has shown signs that he's not ready to take over a permanent manager, and I see us playing pragmatic football, and that isn't sustainable. And these slots in games is pissing me off, passes me off. Yeah, I get you. LT, I agree with you, LT. There's nothing more I agree with you than I agree with you. I agree with you, mate, and I think you're absolutely spot on, mate. I think LT's absolutely spot on. I think we need to analyze it. We need to wait. That's what we need to do. We need to wait and be mature. You know, there's a lot of people getting giddy because they don't really understand levels and tactics and things like that. This is why they didn't understand Amarim. They don't understand it, right? So I would say that, you know, Michael Carrick, if he goes and wins the next 7 games, you're going to have to think very seriously about giving him the job. And I think they will. Whatever we think won't matter. I honestly feel that if Luis Enrique is available, he's attainable. I would say that, you know, at the end of the day. At the end of the day. We Jack Edinburgh. Backup manager, we do to the end of the season. You're starting to build a bad feeling against him already. Look at the results he's got given us. Look where we are in the league. You're not a proper United fan. Mate, I've been to 500 games, Justin Jack Edinburgh. We're calling things subjectively. You're a giddy little bitch. That's it, mate. And to be honest with you, you get giddy about nothing, mate. You're getting excited by nothing, my friend. I respect your opinion, but you're judging this community that we can't judge Carrick. We have to live on this rainbow. We have to live on like My Little Pony and things like that. We have to do something like that. You know what I mean? We have to live like Care Bears and be all happy and lucky. And you know what I mean? Look, there's flying fluffy clouds and all that, mate. We're calling a game subjectively, objectively, and fairly. We have not been brilliant in 6 games, right? We got results, but that's not sustainable, mate, right? Just stop it, mate. When you come on my channel, you're welcome. But we're not putting any bad feeling towards Michael Carrick. We're not putting any bad feeling. We back him. Mate, I've forgotten more than you know about Manchester United, mate. You know? And if you want to be on this channel, you're not going to be read again until you come out with a proper constructive argument, mate. Right? A proper constructive argument. We're not doubting Michael Carrick. We're analysing Michael Carrick. There's a difference, mate. Maybe if you analyse things in your life, you might be successful, my friend. If you analyse things a little bit better, you may get there, my friend. You know what I mean? You may get there. Believe in yourself, my friend. You'll get there, my friend. All right? All right? I believe in you. You should believe in you. All right? And have a little bit more, a bit more expansion to your brain. Don't just think that we're being negative because you've just come on this channel. It's the first time I've read your comment. You have not read all the positivity we said about Michael Carrick. You know, you have not read, you're not listened. You've cherry picked what I've said. And you said we're being negative. So we only could be positive. We only could be positive. All right, let's all be positive. Let's all be like we Jack Edinburgh. You know, let's all be like him. You know, at the end of the day, guys, at the end of the day. I'm more of a fan than you ever be. Been to over 600 games all around the world, Jack. So sorry, mate. Loose on that one. Sal, my problem with our team is we stand off our opponents when they have the ball. Constructive argument. We need the desire to get in their shirt and get the ball back. Press, Phil. And this is what we're saying. Without criticism, without analysing, you don't improve, do you? If you think you've made it, it's like the players that come through in our team. Some of them think they've already made it. Some of them think they've already made it. If you think you've made it, you're not going to improve. It's exactly when we analyse Man United, we analyse Michael Carrick, we analyse his bench, we analyse his assistant manager. We do start the game slowly, straight fact. Right? It's a straight fact. We do start. We lost to Newcastle against 10 men. Straight fact. Right? You have to call these things. And these red flags that we're saying is for us to improve. Unfortunately, those people with a narrow brain, very extremely narrow brain, don't look at it in a positive. They look at it in a negative. They think that we're on here saying that, oh, we lost to Newcastle. It doesn't matter. We got to back the manager and be positive. We're calling out mistakes. We're calling out what can improve, how we can improve, and analysing it fairly on this Monday morning. That's what we do on Breaking Dawn, guys. And that's how it should be. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate you all, even perhaps in the comments. Really appreciate you. Take it easy, guys. Remember, if you tune into the channel every single day, guys, we are here every single day, being positive about Man United. Those who knew us under Eric Ten Hag, under Ruben Amorim, and now under Michael Carrick, we've always been positive, and we never called a manager's head ever on this channel. If you know, of course. And we never said sack him. Never sack that fraud. We've never done that on this channel. This is why we grow, guys, and this is what it's all about. Solskjaer had the same start. He had a better start. He had 8 games on in a row. When the pragmatic football went wrong, he was exposed. And if you really think we were going to win titles, Carrick, then you're clearly deluded. Look, at the end of the day, that's what it is, guys. Absolutely. Let me read this. Sanai, what's going on? Failure to keep Carrick will send United back to the difficult days. No, not with Luis Enrique. It won't. Think about that. That's speculation. Think about the many managers that come after Fergie and tell me whether you expected Carrick to perform better than them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer performed better than them, and what happened to him? And we have to look at things critically, my friend. We have to. I support Michael Carrick. People are analysing this differently. They're jumping on this bandwagon, right? I support Michael Carrick wholeheartedly. But you've got to look at the game subjectively, objectively. It shows a lack of IQ, my friend, when you just openly, blindly walk into hell, expecting not to get burned, right? And that's what it is. And what you've got to do, you've got to analyze the game, look at the game pragmatically, look at the game fairly, at the end of the day. Failure to keep Carrick will send United back to the difficult days. We were 3 points on 4th under Amorim, mate. I mean, at the end of the day. And because of the AFCON, we weren't 3rd. So it's nothing amazing here, guys, at the end of the day, and I think we need to calm down. We act like children here when we talk about these things, my friend. And we need to analyze things maturely, good and bad, which we've done on the channel, of course. And that's what I would say. At the end of the day, I hope Michael Carrick is the rebirth of Alex Ferguson. But in my analysing, because I don't look at football like I kick ball in goal, we win. I don't look at stats and things like that. I don't look at football like that. I actually analyse football, and I can see red flags. I can see good flags as well, right? I can see red flags, and when we're talking about the red flags, I think it's very important that we mention the red flags as well, right? Because that is what football debate is all about. We can bring the positives. In regards to Michael Carrick is the results. He's getting the things, as I've always said. The positives in regards to Michael Carrick is that we're showing a lot of character in games. When we've drawn or we've lost, we've gotten back into games, right? We got back into games, which is good for character and good for morale building. That's what we've done, right? There are red flags, they're good flags, right? The red flags, we're losing to teams like Newcastle against 10 men. The red flags, we got lucky against Crystal Palace because we got a lucky penalty. Let's be real. Right, and there's red flags, and there's, as I said, there's red flags and there's good flags. And I think we have to analyze things properly and maturely, guys. And I think that's what needs to happen. not just go down that road. He needs to get the job, and that's it. Luis Enrique is factually a better manager than Michael Carrick. And I think he would be a brilliant manager for Man United. Right? We got to stop looking at sustainability and looking at getting that to that next level. Right? And also, it's all right, Mandem. Don't worry about it, Mandem. I got thick skin. I called him names. He called me names. It's absolutely. This is what, you know. I don't cry about things like that, Mandem. It's fine. Let him say what he wants about me, because at the end of the day, you know, he feels the need to do that. Maybe it's his vocabulary. You know what I mean? You know, maybe he was raised in a barn. I don't know, but it's just the way it is live, innit? You know, for some people, they just don't know how to articulate things. But of course, you know what I mean. We do have a little bit of banter on here. It's absolutely fine. I got thick skin, man. Them, you know, it doesn't bother me at the end of the day, because I know what I am. I know what Man United fan I am. I know more about him than Man United. I've been to more games than him. I've travelled the world watching Man United. You know, I'm known at Man United. If he wants, I made a movement against the Glazers, a 58th minute walkout, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? And you know, people want to talk about me. You know, it's up to them, but they're misinformed, and that's it. And you know, misinformed people, they generally make themselves look like idiots. Carrick has done his job by getting Champions League football, which is a mandate. But in terms of the future, we should be more ambition if we really want to compete with the top teams. Exactly. Let's first start with Enrique until we are 100% sure that's not coming. Then we can look at Carrick and other targets. But let's go for Enrique. And this is the point, Mandem, which people are crying about. At the moment, there's a few people crying about that, what I said. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you could kindly subscribe to the channel if you're new, smash a like on the video, all that jazz. If you could do that for me, absolutely fantastic. Whether you agree or not, guys, it's all Stretford Post at the end of the day. And we move on, guys, absolutely. And absolutely. Nick. Luis Enrique is 99.9% better than all the available managers this summer. Leagues ahead of that. We know that, Nick, and this is the point in it. And, you know, what I would say is that, and I'm not ruling out Michael Carrick out the job. We said that I'm giving Michael Carrick third place. That's very high praise. I'm putting him ahead of Areola. I'm putting him ahead of Glasner. I'm putting him ahead of De Zerbi. I'm putting him ahead of Tuchel. You know what I mean? People just, they don't really understand what it takes to be successful. They don't. They're just very, people are very short-termism. They're very short-termism, and they don't understand. They don't have the cojones to go further in regards to patience and understanding what's going to take things to our next level. Now, if Carrick does get the job, as every manager does on this channel, they get the full backing. The full backing, more than any other channel, guys. We don't say bald frauds on here. We don't say frauds on here. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, that's what I would say about that. Absolutely. But guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me. I really appreciate you all. Don't forget to please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, all that jazz. And please don't forget to spread the word of Stretford Post and put your notifications on in case I go live elsewhere, guys, because I do sometimes. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy it. We're not playing for 20 days. So this is conversation. This is what football's about. Conversation, guys. Have a good day, good night, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'll see you then. And guys, don't forget to tune in to Stretford Post about 3 p.m. UK time for my youth team analysing. Today, it's about Jim Thwaites. Have a look at it. Enjoy it. Send your comments. Let me know what you think. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Have a good one. Take it easy, guys. 20 days without football, V. It's terrible. I know. Mad, isn't it? Real football. We got international games, haven't we? Have a good one, guys. See you soon. Peace.